Hi, my name is Will Nunziata, and I'm a New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and I'm also a proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am so excited to be speaking with the acclaimed singer-songwriter, Derith Klein. For more on Derith, you can read more about him right below this video, but in the meantime, here is a sneak peek at the incredible talent of Derith.
Control yourself, don't waste away. Hoping for another day, searching for another minute of time. Found myself in even deeper water, losing focus, hold on a little longer.
Well, hello, Derith. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Well, the audience just got a little sneak peek of your amazing talent. And I want to know, Derith, when did you realize you had such a beautiful musical gift?
I think from an early age, I knew that I loved music. From like my parents like putting on like old Beatles albums and me getting like into Elvis on my own and like being obsessed with Elvis movies and like doing the dances and singing along, yeah, so I think I knew from an early age that I loved music. And then of course my parents were like, all right, the kid is clearly musical, like what can we do with him? So they tried me out on piano when I was younger, when I was probably around like 7 or 8, but my attention span was ridiculous then, and I like couldn't sit still to save my life. So like piano was not going to be it for me. So some years went on, and I still loved music and like started developing my own tastes. And then when I was like 11, 12, I was like, all right, like I want to learn an instrument, and like what's the instrument that like speaks to me the most? And so I obviously chose guitar because like what's cooler than guitar?
I love that.
To a
Wait,
12-year-old boy, right? Like,
well, was it when you started picking up the guitar that you realized you also wanted to write?
not immediately. When I first picked up the guitar, it was like, oh, let me learn all the classic licks.
You just wanted to be John Lennon.
Basically, yeah. I'm just like, let me get a handle on this instrument. And then, throughout middle school and high school, I joined bands and I was collaborating with friends, and I was like, oh, this is such a cool experience. And then probably not till I would say like college, I started like kind of like writing for myself.
What school did you go to?
I went to Purchase
Oh,
College.
SUNY Purchase. I love it. I know
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends who went there. What a beautiful, not only what an obviously an amazing school for music and the arts, but what a beautiful environment. I feel like every time I go to SUNY Purchase and I walk on that campus, I'm like, this is like an artist retreat.
It really is, yeah. And funnily enough, like I majored in sociology, so like not any of the artistic avenues that people go to Purchase for, but like even
But
just being
the vibe
the
there is
vibe,
so
yeah.
freaking cool. Like, how could you not get
Yeah,
involved?
just surrounded by a bunch of like really creative and talented people is like kind of all you need,
That's amazing. So while you were at SUNY Purchase that you started playing gigs and whatnot? Because obviously you're in Scarsdale, but SUNY Purchase, the access to Manhattan is so close. Did you find yourself going in a lot to see shows, or was it just mainly a lot of shows on campus that you
A lot
were?
of shows on campus. I still like regularly went to concerts in the city with friends when I could. But yeah, Purchase had a pretty live music scene, as I'm sure you could guess. My friend also went to New Paltz, so like the like between like the New Paltz music scene, the Purchase
Are you
scene,
kidding
we were
me?
bouncing. Yeah, we were bouncing back and forth.
New Paltz is another cool, what a vibe. I mean, so my husband grew up right by New Paltz, and so every
Okay.
time I go up to visit, I go up and down that main street of New Paltz, and I feel like I'm taken into a different era.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of got this like classical, like small New York town vibe to it, and
It does.
nice. Yeah, it is really nice up there.
So you went back and forth. Okay, so I'm imagining, young Derith,
Mhm.
in SUNY New Paltz, majoring in sociology, but like, doing the music thing. When
Yeah.
you graduated, what happened? What were your next steps in terms of you pursuing your music even more?
Yeah, so I was in that like transitionary period where like I was out of college and I didn't really know what to do. So of course, like, I just like I took a retail job and tried to figure out like, my next steps. But, music was always really important to me. So I continued writing on my own, and then eventually me and like one of my lifelong friends, we had been in bands in high school, decided to just do another band thing, and that kind of lasted a few years, and we put out an album that I'm really proud of. And
What's the name of the band and the album, Derith?
so that band was Harrington,
Okay.
and the name of the album was For the Better.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what Harrington, what that name came, how that name came about.
um I'm trying to remember exactly how it came about.
You're,
The
you
naming
could,
of bands is always like such a weird thing because it's
no,
like
I
you
know.
sit down and
What a
you're like,
silly,
it's like
what a
very
silly
mechanical,
question.
like you're listing
I,
names and you're like, no, I hate it.
I've asked some other musicians about naming their bands, and they're like, "Will, we literally were high one night and looked at the street corner, and it was X."
Literally something like that. I think we were probably like, I think my friend was like looking through like a catalog or online shopping and something, and he was talking about like Harrington jackets, and I was like, Harrington, that's kind of neat.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
and
love
so
that.
that's probably something like that.
And explain about the song.
So yeah, the songs were written by me, and it was kind of like it was my attempt at just kind of uh getting out all the things that I was feeling in that time in my life, just like uncertainty and like being out of college and not being sure what I wanted to do with life, and just like feeling stuck like in your hometown.
Oh, God bless. I mean,
Yeah,
listen, you grew up in Scarsdale, right?
yeah,
Yes, yeah, I grew up in Pelham Manor, which is very close, but I remember those first few years out of college. I mean, yes, hashtag grateful that both of us, right, live so close to the city, but
yes,
still to after having those 4 years of freedom and then to literally go back into your hometown and have to face, people like, oh, so what are you up to? How is college? When are you gonna
exactly.
get a real job? I
Right.
get
What are
it.
you doing? Oh, cool. Like career prospects? You're like, no.
Oh my, I feel you on that one, especially being from, a somewhat, let's just say, and please excuse me if I'm wrong, I think Pelham Manor and Scarsdale are similar, nothing to bash, beautiful places to grow up, God bless America.
Yeah, wonderful
But
place to grow up.
but
But
also that expectation, right?
yeah, absolutely.
That's so amazing. So right now, I mean, this quarantine obviously has been so tough for everyone, especially artists. And
Mhm.
what have you been able to do to just kind of keep your creative juices flowing?
Um, so I mean, my goal last summer, like when the pandemic started, was I was like, oh my God, I have all this free time. I had recently like left my job, and I was just in school. So I was like, I have all this free time. So my goal was to like work on like a surf rock album. Um, and then,
Wait,
like,
go into that.
yeah, yeah. So I had just been like listening to a lot of surf rock
Yeah.
for a few months, and I was like, I'm really digging this, and I wanna just try to see if I can write like a surf rock album. And I had like written a bunch of songs in various stages of completion, and then the summer kind of ended, and school started back up again, and I like found myself just like getting back to getting back to real life, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But now it's summer again, and I'm here in this house like by myself, and I'm like, all right, I gotta finish it. So
Do
like,
it. Do it.
I have all this time and I have all this space. So that's my goal for the next few months.
That's amazing. And look at Derith, when I think about you joining FENIX, this amazing new app that's going to really not only connect you to more fans, but also other potential collaborators around the world. I mean, look at, you mentioned the bands that you grew up idolizing, and I love your vibe and what you put out there. And I can only imagine that despite maybe some people around the world not understanding English,
Hmm.
your vibe is transcendent. And what do you think about the idea of, potentially collaborating with others around the world?
Yeah, I think it's very cool. Especially when you start to link up with people who just have drastically different tastes, and you can somehow find that like that sweet spot
Yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
you know, where you can make something really unique. Yeah, it sounds amazing.
That's awesome, Derith. Well, listen, my friend, I'm so grateful to have met you. I'm grateful that the audience out there got a little sneak peek of your talent. For
Mhm.
more on Derith, you can go below this video, read more about him. And Derith, I'm so grateful for your time today.
Hey,
Thank you.
so much. I'm honored. Thanks.
Digital age, artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, join the change.